From New York City, please give it up for Vanessa Hidary.
I meet a guy in a bar that's cute. He wears LL Bean duck boots and guards my bar stool when I have to go pee. He asked me out to dinner for the following Tuesday. I decline. Tuesday is Yom Kippur. I will be fasting. You're Jewish? Wow. You don't look Jewish. You don't act Jewish. And he says it in this tone that sounds like he's complimenting me. And I say nothing.
Hi, I'm Rachel Sklar, and we're here after the Salon with Vanessa Hidary, aka the Hebrew Mamita. Vanessa, welcome. It's so great to have you.
I'm so excited to finally be here.
It is a delight. So, Hebrew Mamita, can you explain why that moniker?
Actually, people are always really, I grew up on the Upper West Side, which has always been a very traditionally mixed neighborhood. And I'm actually also like a Sephardic Ashkenazi smoothie of like being my family. That's my new smoothie.
With chia seeds.
Exactly. My father's family is Russian, Latvia, and my mother's family is Syrian. So I'm not technically, and then, Sephardic, so there are people from Spain and everything, but I grew up with all my friends being of different backgrounds. And I wanted to put together a name that was very proud of being Jewish, but also really reflected a lot of other cultures that I grew up with. And Mamita, if people don't know, Mamita is a term of endearment, like, hey, mommy, hey, Mamita, very popularly used in Latino culture. And I really wanted to bring in something that was very New York, something that was very, Latin in with my Jewish upbringing, so people would actually ask the question, and then I could talk about how I grew up and this amazing neighborhood and kind of experience that I've had that I realize is more rare as I travel.
So a specific geography question: what blocks? Like, where did you grow up? Where on the Upper West Side, which stretches from the park all the way up? So.
On 88th Street, between Columbus and Central Park. And my family moved there in the 60s. My dad bought a brownstone there when everyone thought the neighborhood was not a good neighborhood, and rented it out to boarders and stuff, and, rented things out. People freak out about this for like $200 a month on the Upper West Side, a one bedroom. And
that's the Starbucks budget.
Exactly. And then they just really saw that that it was going to be something great, and lo and behold, it became the Upper West Side that people know now. And I still live on the Upper West Side,
So when you are in particularly Jewish spaces, and or when you're in particularly Latino spaces, how do you feel the other side of your culture coming in and making you feel different and special? Is it sometimes alienating and isolating, or do you often feel like you have something to share, and is it different in either ones?
Well, since I'm not technically Latino, I guess when I'm with Jews, I always feel like I'm Jewish, but I feel like I'm representing, I do feel like I carry with me representing an experience that represents a lot of people that sometimes Jews don't always want to include in the story. So
or
whether that's, or I'm a big, supporter of Jews of color feeling comfortable in Jewish spaces. And I feel as though I'm bringing in a lot of experiences and talking to Jewish communities about what other people are saying. In the same breath, I also feel like a lot of times when I'm with a Latino community, Black community, any other community that's not Jewish, I also do feel a responsibility to share with them that, to kind of break some of the stereotypes that, when I was performing in the spoken word scene, I was one of the few performers when I first started that was really talking about that. There are many Jewish performers, but really bringing that up as an issue in my work. And it was a really interesting, place to be, because I realized there was such a void of that there, and there was still so much, it wasn't so much, anger or prejudice, but just not knowing, just people not knowing. I mean, I've had people ask me, oh, does your dad wear like those little curls and stuff like that? And that there was just this kind of separation that people needed to meet people to bridge the community
And
more.
that's in New York.
Yeah.
So that's kind of crazy.
Exactly. And that's in New York. And I just felt as though there was definitely a need for more communication and kind of seeing that. And, you know, so much of my work is about women too. And I found that performing those pieces about women broke every color religious line. And people were like, oh my God, at the end of the day, we're women and we have the same heartbreak. I mean, you know, my piece, PhD in him.
I mean, love, 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 love.
And
so great.
You know, so many of my fans were, you know, different races of women, and that really brought us together. But then also still talking about that I'm representing being Jewish, it also made people realize, oh, hey, you know, we're not so far apart. So I try to bring that into every community. And I feel like, you know, I've also decided that I don't think I'm ever going to feel completely comfortable in one group of people. You know, I grew up in such a patchwork, you know, quilt of different people that I'm just comfortable being a little bit in every group and having all of that around me, which is why New York City is the greatest place for me. Yeah.
All right, so you guys know I got my PhD this year, right? Woo! All right, so yeah, I worked real hard for it. It's real hard. So I'm going to tell you about it. If I counted up all the hours I've studied, read, focused on, fucked, sucked, cried over, gotten up and been resilient about, not given up on, believed in, loved, hated, so believed in, ignored my friends' advice about, talked about, did I mention talked about? I'd have a PhD in him. By now I could have had a PhD in philosophy, internal medicine, Middle Eastern studies, stem cell research, but no, I have a PhD in him. Funny how he brings me no income, no pension, no future. Did I mention no future? Funny how he brings me no Roth IRA funds, no medical plan including dental, no sense of security. Funny how he became my career. Yes, he became my career, my daily ambition, my goals. My to-do list today reads him.
I was going to ask you about PhD in him, just as a part of a broader question of like, what are the pieces that have really taken off? Because PhD in him is the one that I sent out to a lot of people.
Yeah.
But the one that I received from my parents was the one like, I don't look Jewish.
Right.
Like being told, and was that one that's really
Yeah,
taken
I
off?
mean, that's I call like my Jew viral, you know, piece that has, you know, gone around and made a lot of, you know, splash in the Jewish community. But I think it's cool because I think actually having those two different pieces really reflect who I am, and you kind of can't take one without the other. So sometimes I'll actually go to Jewish spaces to perform, and you know, they're worried because they look up and they've Googled some of my other material, and they're like, oh my God, you can't do that piece or whatever. And it's fine because I'm not out just to like, you know, shock value, like come into synagogue and, you know, do whatever I want. But the problem is sometimes then they're upset that I actually do that kind of, you know, create that kind of material because they want to see me as one way without the other. And I'm like, it doesn't work that way.
That is not your problem.
Yeah.
That is their problem.
Like I couldn't create this without having this, and that's all part of who I am. So it's interesting having a very, you know, kind of diverse body of work.
Well, I love your stuff so much. I'm so excited that you're here. I'm so excited for more people to discover your amazing
It's a great show.
stuff. Fantastic. We will have to come back.
Thank you, I will.